G'day, I'm DK.
And I'm Ardeet.
Thanks for joining us for this week's Two Ticks Town Talk, a segment from the Australia Talks podcast.
Yeah, this is one of our favourite parts of bringing the podcast to you, our listeners.
So please enjoy this segment from the regular podcast.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the desert, fair man. I've breathed the mountain air, man. I've traveled, I've had my share, man.
Right, this week's Two Ticks Town Talk, we're heading to Western New South Wales to the Mallee Cliffs National Park, which I just mentioned in the segment before. If you're listening to this as a separate segment, you need to go back to the other episode and listen to it there. But the Mallee Cliffs National Park isn't open to the public, so don't get too excited because you can't go here except for very specific circumstances, which in of itself is quite interesting. But trust me, this national park has a very important role to play in conservation. So, the Mallee Cliffs National Park is a protected national park located in the Sunraysia region of southwest New South Wales. It is a whopping 57,969 hectares or 143,240 acre national park, and it's approximately 790 kilometres or 490 miles west of Sydney, and 30 kilometres or 19 miles east of the Murray River city of Mildura, Victoria. The park was established in 1977 when the entire property was purchased by the Foundation for National Parks and Wildlife. The park protects an extensive area of flat, undulating, sandy red plains and linear sand dunes, which were formed during arid periods from about 350,000 to 500,000 years ago. And the Mallee Cliffs National Park is managed to protect the sand plains and the sand dunes and the land system and ecology communities contained within it. And
it's funny you saying that when you said 350,000, thinking with all these things that we cover, thinking, oh, that's actually not that long ago.
Yeah, it's just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're so used to hearing all these, so and so. Particularly with you, when you focus on the geology. This is X number of tens of millions of years ago. It's sort of oh, hang on, that was only a few 100,000. So sorry to interrupt you. It just sounded funny when it came out. I was expecting to hear 1 million rather than 1,000.
Yeah, no, it's bloody brand new. It's still got
exactly.
It's still got the foil on. But the emphasis is placed on the value of Mallee Cliffs National Park as a wildlife conservation area. That is why you can't go here. So a policy of restricted public access is limited to educational purposes, and that is maintained to assist in meeting its conservation objectives. Access is strictly limited to educational activities by schools and colleges and universities. Research activities, though, which are relevant to the management of the park and compatible with the conservation objectives, are deeply encouraged. So it is unfortunate that most of us, well, it's very highly likely, let's be honest, that probably anyone listening to this will get access to the park, but it's not impossible. But we can all benefit from knowing that there are these sanctuaries out there protecting our wildlife. And, so that we've got these incredible creatures and flora and fauna for our future generations. But in saying that, if you are a researcher, a biologist, or some sort of conservationist, and you want to get out there and actually, do some research, reach out. They are very, very keen to facilitate access for the right accredited people to continue to study the environment. So, which is pretty cool. So, what is this wildlife that you speak of? What is in this park? It's a secret. Can't tell you. No, within the park, there are a significant number of endangered and highly vulnerable species, including but not limited to western quolls, red-tailed pursigale, Numbats. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to the numbats in a minute. Western barred bandicoots, bilbies, burrowing bitongs, bush-trailed bitongs, bridled nail-tail wallabies, greater stick nest rats, and Mitchell's hopping mouse, all of which have had an increase in population since 2012, including a whopping 93% increase in the population of greater stick-nest rats and a 53% increase in western barred bandicoots as well. Unfortunately, Mitchell's hopping mouse was the lowest. It had an increase of about 1%. So we'll keep an eye on that one over the next few years. The park also lies within the southern New South Wales Mallee Important Bird Area, identified by BirdLife International as supporting a significant population of vulnerable Mallee fowl. The park is the only reserve in New South Wales with a Mallee fowl habitat. The Mallee fowl is found in arid areas only where mallee trees grow. I can already hear you saying, what is a mallee tree? I'm glad you asked because I'll tell you right now. Because I didn't know either. Mallee trees are small eucalyptus trees and shrubs with many small stems and thick underground roots that retain water. So I think, looking at pictures and stuff like that, I think the best way to kind of describe this is if you've ever seen what thick bamboo kind of looks like, where it has a sort of a large rhizome under the ground with multiple stalks that come out. It's a similar sort of thing with these eucalyptus trees, where it's kind of a big bulb underground with several sort of thinner stems coming out. And that helps them retain a lot of water. But before irrigation farming, dense thickets of mallee characterised most of the northwestern Victoria and areas of southwestern New South Wales. Unfortunately, a lot of that has been cleared for farming and agriculture. And so there really isn't a huge amount of protected mallee left in the country. But as the mallee fowl are only found in these arid areas where the mallee trees grow, the park is becoming a unique nesting ground in the surrounding area that has continued to be cleared for agriculture and human habitation. They are kind of interesting birds. The male builds a nest for the eggs by digging a large pit in the winter and filling it with leaves and grass over the next few months. The female comes and lays one egg per day for several days during spring, and then the male covers the resulting mound up with sand. And basically, all of that organic matter starts to compost, and that composting heap generates heat and keeps the eggs warm. And so the male continues to stand around the mound of dirt and sticks and organic matter, and he continues to test the temperature of the mound with his tongue, where he adds or removes sand to get better ventilation to either cool it down or continue to letting it warm up. When the chicks hatch, they dig their way out of the mound, and once they emerge, they are renowned for just standing stationary on top of it for about 20 minutes. Before they race off into the bush, never be seen again. The chicks hatch with feathers and are immediately independent. They never have any parental care.
Wow.
It's basically that 20 minutes of standing on top of the mound is the only time Dad will really ever get a good look at them, and then they're gone and they're off doing their own thing.
How long did you say they're in the mound for?
A couple of months. So they do take a bit of time. I do wonder if that standing stationary situation is maybe partly why they're having such a hard time. I feel like predators would just happily...
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Just sitting there waiting for their buffet to come. So that's a weird, interesting bird. The mallee fowl. Of course, the park isn't just limited to endangered species, though. There are also known populations of many, many birds, including emus, and of course, lots of mammals, including significant populations of western grey kangaroos, of course, as well as pygmy possums and the little pied bat, which is really, really cool, and greater long-eared bats, which use older trees as nesting hollows. The Mallee spinifex grass of the park is also the main habitat for the western blue-tongue, and southern spinifex is the slender blue-tongue lizard's favourite nesting grounds as well. So love a good blue-tongue lizard, pretty iconic Australian reptile. So that's cool to see as well. What I really thought was quite interesting about this park was the 2020 reintroduction of the numbat. I'd never actually heard of this animal before, and now I just really want to see one, observe it, ideally in its wild habitat, but unfortunately I don't think that's probably going to happen. They are closely related to quolls. So if you know what a quoll is, then you're in luck, because they pretty much look like a quoll. And if you don't know what a quoll is,
yeah, stuffed.
You'll have to Google it, or have a look at the show notes. Yeah, in the show notes, I've got the Wikipedia for the numbat, so you can go and have a look at that. They are closely related to quolls and the thylacine, aka the Tasmanian tiger. Yeah, they are small.
I can see that.
Yeah, they're small insectivorous marsupials, roughly the size of about a house cat. They've got stripes down their back like the thylacine, though again, like the thylacine, it is more prominent towards their rear end, and they have a big bushy tail as well. It looks like a large pipe cleaner. They have a long pointed snout, as they primarily eat termites, which is a bit weird because they don't appear really to be well built, well adapted to eat termites. Unlike other termite eating animals like anteaters, aardvarks, and pangolins, those animals all have heavy, strong forelimbs with big, heavy claws that they can kind of dig through the tough dirt of a termite mound. But no, numbats don't have any of that. So I'm not really sure exactly how they get in to actually eat the termites. What I also thought was interesting about them was they have the highest visual acuity of any marsupial. This basically means they have the best eyesight, which is a bit strange because its primary sense for finding food is smell. Apparently they can smell the termites. You'd think, termites pretty small. They'd probably see them from a mile away, but no. That's not what they think. The deal is, it's theorized that their amazing eyesight is for detecting predators at a distance. Unfortunately, though, that adaptation doesn't appear to have been particularly successful for them, as there are estimated to be fewer than 1,000 left in the wild Australia-wide. But not all is lost. The breeding population inside Mallee Cliffs National Park is now estimated to be at a whopping 270, which is an absolutely huge increase in such a critically endangered species. So this is very possibly going to be a species where the quote-unquote captive, protected population is going to probably outlive their wild cousins, which is a shame, but it's better than having nothing left. So this project, this particular national park and conservation park represents what I think is an outstanding ecological return on investment for the people of New South Wales and, of course, of Australia, broadly speaking. At least 10 regionally extinct mammals will be restored to the region is the plan, and they're well on their way to success. So whilst we can't visit, I think that is for the best ultimately, long term, and maybe one day as this program is just incredibly successful so far, and hopefully it continues to go strength to strength. We'll see some of these populations being spread into more areas to repopulate the land once more, and even potentially reintroduced back into the broader wild, especially once we get the bilbies. The bilby army to eviscerate the rabbits, and then we can reintroduce all of these incredible creatures back into the wild proper. So thank you for listening to this week's Two Ticks Town Talk on the Mallee Cliffs National Park, somewhere we can't go, and we're glad that we have it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand now why you're inspired after that first thing on the bilby to take us to that place in the Two Ticks Town Talk. That's an interesting spot. It would be nice to hope that someday it would get opened up a little bit more, even if it's sort of a special. Guided tour.
Visitor's Day, yeah.
Or things like you think with the what is it? The penguins down at Phillip Island. Yeah, if there's I can't remember. There's can't remember what they call it, the Penguin Show or something. I should remember. It's down my bloody way. But that you'd be able to. It would be good if you could sort of have something like that where people were able to go out and did they say they were nocturnal or they diurnal, or did you not put that bit on the numbats?
I have no idea. I didn't actually look it up.
But
it wouldn't surprise me if they were actually.
Yeah, and that you could set up something like a glamping site, so that it could potentially be a way to raise more funds for it. But
they are diurnal. Yeah,
diurnal. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand probably enough about their sensitivity to that sort of impact in their environment. It might be something that it just freaks them out and ruins things. But I don't know. Might also be something that they just sort of haven't. No, they would have thought of it. But if I can think of it, they can think of it. But there might be some other reasons stopping it there. But I think it sounds like with that amount of territory that it would be a place I'd be interested in going to, particularly if there was someone that you had a reasonable chance of seeing it. I mean, there's never any guarantee, like with whale watching and things like that. You never sort of have any absolute guarantee that you're going to see the thing. But if you see it, there's that chance of it. And I'd be like you. I'd love to see a numbat.
Yeah, I like that idea of like maybe glamping or something like that, and kind of make it an exclusive experience. Like charge people for it. Because people would be willing to do that sort of thing, and I think there's value in the conservation of it. There's value in the public relations and sort of marketing of it. I'd never even heard of the numbat until I started looking into this sanctuary. So it's unfortunately, unlike the bilby and some of other native species, I do think there's a lot of species that just don't have that marketing behind them that kind of makes that protection a bit more easy to establish and fund. And so something like that could be a really, really cool and exciting way to get the public a bit more interested in some of these conservation efforts. I do think, and I almost don't want to say this because I don't want to offend anyone, but I do think within the realm of conservation, there is a lot of people that are kind of fearful of doing ideas like this, in that their sort of baseline is any human activity is bad, so we should just completely do nothing. And I think sometimes that can kind of harm the mission overall, because it's excluding people, and we need the funding, so we need people to care, and we need people to care about something by being involved, which means we have to open it up to the public, which means we need to control it. And it kind of they're kind of at odds with each other sometimes, and that can be quite unfortunate. So, but I like your idea. Let's do like a glamping thing. You could really restrict the numbers down, make it quite an exclusive experience, make it an expensive experience.
Oh yeah, because there's people out there willing to throw money at something like that, and it's just. Look, just because it's not going to be available to everybody doesn't mean they shouldn't go ahead with it. And if you can charge an exorbitant amount and get that coming through the door, well, my personal opinion is why not?
Why not? And you could sort of tack it on, because a lot of these animals are remote desert type of animals. And if you had a sanctuary, say on the route where maybe the Garn goes, you could tie it into something like that. There's opportunities here. I think if we get a little bit more creative, we could continue the success in a different way. So, but look, let's leave it there. If you're someone that knows anyone that is participated in the Mallee Cliffs National Park and they want to get in touch with us, let them know that we'd love to talk to them. australiatalks@proton.me and let us know if we can do anything to help them out as well.